rules apply to everyone. 3-minute pitch sharp. Some of them that have been here know that I'm serious about this. Judges, we have time for one question and a half, depending how fast you are, okay? I will invite all our judges to take questions. You'll be judged in innovation, scalability, team, viability, and investability. And now, I'm going to try something new because we have a massive jury, which is really long. So I'm going to need your help to help me introduce them, right? Audience, okay? We can do this? So every time I say a name, I want a, hey, yeah? We can do that? Yeah? So let me try with myself. Alex Barrera. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So Ray, it's a long list. You see how many there are. So chill, so we don't have to applaud all the time. Okay, ready? So please welcome Diego Cordón from BBVA. Estíbaliz Arenzana, Vizcay Startup Bay. Jorge Ruiz Peinado, Cepsa. Luis Costa, Dell. Yolanda Fernández, EDP España. Antonio Castellanos de Toro, Enel Innovation Hub. Come on, more energy. Jaime Biel, Faraday Ventures. Rebeca Guerra, Ferrovial. Rubén Linacero, Fundación para el Conocimiento Madrid +D. Carmen Arce, Global Vía Inversiones. Fernando Casado, Climate Tech Venture Fund. We're nearly there. Pepe Villanova, GME, José Manuel Entre Canales Ventures. Max Bray from K-Fund. Isabel Córdoba from Caudal. Yoko Kojima from Mundi Ventures. Nearly there. Mark Durno, Rockstar. 4 more and we're done. Ana Nubo, Sabadell Venture Capital. More energy, Isaac Peña, Sacir. Ana Puciña, Telefónica. And Ramon Lopez from Veolia. Big applause to them. Thank you very much. You did very well. Very good. Thank you. Anyway, so we're staying here in Spain, and we're going to introduce our first startup that is actually in a rush. So we're not going to take any questions for them because they need to leave. But I'll leave you with their pitch to talk about technology that allows us to do waste management in a circular economy approach. And they're one of the pioneers doing this, and they've done it very, very well. I've seen them many, many times. So please welcome our first startup of the blog. Big applause to Paula Sanchez, founder and CEO of Co-Circular. Big applause to Paula.
Okay, don't be mindless. World landfills are not infinite. We are Co-Circular, the technology that turns waste into opportunity. The world produces between 7 and 10 billion tons of waste per year. I can't remember on memory, but this can. Sorry? I can't. The world produces between 7 and 10 billion tons of waste per year. Landfills alone emit 11 million tons of CO2 per year, and 30% of this great problem comes from the construction sector. The big news is that the new regulation, European, requires that 70% of this waste construction must be transformed into a raw material. But in Spain, we only reach 30%. The good news is that we are achieving 88%. Our SaaS technology is the first business intelligence of waste. And our value proposition is a fully digitalized process, no more waste tracking in an Excel or by hand, transparent traceability and full compliance, optimize cost of waste management, and all the environmental impact metrics in just one click. This is why more and more medium and large companies in construction and renewable energy trust us. So this year, we will grow from 60 to 200 customers, and sales will increase to 1 million euros. Our gross margin on sales is that 14,000 on a month. And also this year, we will grow and we reach EBITDA positive. Why us? We are the only one in the market with a complete solution, a market of more than 1 million euros in Europe, just in the construction sector. Beyond that, our technology is ready to jump to other sectors. So at last, ecology and economy go hand in hand. We are proving it, and we get more than 45% of CO2 avoided. But none of this will be possible without team. Our team is the dream team, and we start in Zubi Labs, the venture builder funded by Iker Markaide. So this year is our year. We will grow towards scalability. And we are fundraising and looking for new contracts with more big companies. And last but not least, let me remember that all recovered material is no longer taken from nature, doesn't return as waste. Thank you very much.
Okay, and let me question for everyone. Who likes honey? Raise your hand. Keep it up. Honey lovers? Wow, not that many. I have this discussion with my wife. I really love honey. I'm not a sweet person, but I really like honey. And I have friends that have bees, and they have honeybees, and then they use a lot of bees around. And it's funny because now we're starting to realize how critical bees are to our ecosystem, right? How complex the ecosystem interacts with everything. So let me give you a fact. Like around 75% of the food you all eat is pollinized by bees. Now, if you haven't heard, let me tell you, there's a bee crisis. Well, there's been a bee crisis for a very long time. So our next startup is precisely using data to save the bees and ensure global food security for all. So please welcome our next startup, all the way from the US. Big applause to Omer Davidi, CEO and co-founder of BeHero.
So several years ago, I had a life-changing experience where I realized that I want to do something that will make a positive impact. Now, there are many people here in the room coming from different places, different cultures, but there's one thing that all of us need. We all need, and some of us even like food. And as you mentioned, 75% of the crops relies on tiny little insects, bees. And unfortunately, those bees are dying. And this is not only an ecological disaster. This represents a huge financial loss. My name is Omer, and I'm a CEO and co-founder of BeHero. At BeHero, we decided that we're going to focus on food security while maintaining bees' welfare. We developed small, low-cost IoT sensors that goes into existing beehives, and by measuring things like temperature, humidity, sound, and more from inside the hive, together with environmental parameters, crop type, varieties, densities, location, we can get a better understanding and early detect and predict things that will cause those colonies to collapse. Our first application is the first ever precision pollination as a service platform. We are allowing beekeepers to maintain stronger and healthier colonies, and we help farmers to get access to precision pollination to support their efforts to increase productivity. In less than 4 years, we became the largest pollination provider in the US and now expanding to other geographies with tens of millions of dollars in revenues and a consistent growth of more than 200% every single year. As we move forward, and maybe one of the things that I like the most about what we do, that we've managed to build such a significant data set of bees on pollination that was never existed before, that we can now support more stakeholders in the industry. We are working with seed producers, providing pollination insights platform to support their efforts to get better understanding on insect spread across their fields. We are working with beekeepers to give them access to better treatments, financial solutions, and insurance play. And as we progress, we are looking to help farmers and retailers to handle the price risk volatility when it comes to food production. We founded the company by the end of 2017, a group of commercial beekeepers, experienced farmers, together with deep tech experts and serial entrepreneurs. We've raised $64 million until now from strategic players like Rabobank, General Mills, and more. And our goal is to move forward and introduce Bee Hero solution to more and more farmers out there. So before we finish it today, I wanna leave you with an ask. When you go home, act like bees. Pollinate as many minds as you can. Tell them that we can no longer leave pollination to chance, because precision pollination is gonna be the heart of our ability to transfer to sustainable agriculture. Thank you.
Spot on. So my homework is to go back home and pollinate.
That's good.
Okay. Okay, judges, questions, please. You have two there. Make them very fast, please.
Yeah, quick question. Thanks for the presentation, Omar. Impact side of things, completely believe in what you're doing with the bees. Commercial pollination markets are not that large, comparatively speaking, from a venture case. Can you comment on that? How is the traction looking, and could you give us a bit of information on the dynamics of your market share that you could penetrate there?
Yeah, so we are focused on providing the pollination services, and you can look at it from two aspects. The amount of crops that depends on bee pollinators is equal to approximately $1 trillion. In many cases, introducing bees to those crops is a combination of getting the honey in return and basically selling the honey. So if you look at the developed market, we are probably playing in the range of $10 billion market opportunity for pollination services. And then if we're broadening up a little bit to areas that can benefit a lot from pollination, you're exceeding the $20 billion market, but this also requires market education. So our focus today is the first group.
Short.
It's finished.
Then we don't have time to get it, but I'll come back to you on the next one. Thank you. Big
Thank you.
applause to Omar. Thank you very much. And we're now going back to Spain. And speaking of Spain, beyond, toros, paella, and playa, what we do have a lot is a lot of sun, right? We like the sun here, right, Spaniards? We like the sun. And obviously everyone is talking about, solar production and how Spain has the potential to become a solar power worldwide. However, there's still issues, a lot of issues to actually achieve that. And some of them have to do with where do you install the solar panels when it comes to self-consumption, right? Who puts them there, what kind of certifications you need to put them there, and maybe more importantly, it's like, even if you consume all the extra energy that you have the asymmetry of solar power with the off-ramp and on-ramps, which means that at night, you normally don't have solar power, normally. Some people are capable of getting energy at night, but normally we don't have. Now, this creates a lot of issues, especially for consumers. If you want to do self-consumption for that, then when the energy, you don't really control when the energy, for example, the exceeded energy that you produce gets released into the grid. So you might get, by the way, a shitty deal, economic deal, when reselling the extra energy you're producing. Now, our next company is trying to fix those two issues. They're going to try and convince all of you to plug those solar panels and reduce your cost of energy and even make extra cash. Are we ready? So please welcome our next startup. Big applause for Javier Guardo, co-founder of Bluebird.
The growth of domestic solar installations is very well known. However, there's a big problem. If you have domestic solar at home, you don't produce energy at night when your consumption is usually the highest. And if you produce excess energy, you actually sell it when the price is cheapest. The logical solution to this problem is domestic batteries. However, do you know what is the percentage of Spanish homes that actually have them? Close to zero. Why? Because it doesn't make economic sense to do so at this point in time. The reason is that current batteries are dumb. They discharge energy every single day at the same time, even though they lose money in the process doing so. At Bluebird, we are making dumb batteries smart. Our AI-driven battery management system uses only a battery cycle when we make clients money. And to be more precise, we use the cycle when the economic value that we can extract out of it exceeds its amortization cost. And this is the result of what we do. Here, I can show an example of the average daily savings that we generate versus dumb batteries. But it gets better than this. To maximize the value of our smart battery management system, you need solar. But if you are like 76% of Spanish people, you live in flats, and therefore you have no roof on which to put solar. So what if I told you that you could, right now, order online your own solar kit, place it anywhere in your terrace, plug it into a standard socket, and start producing your own power? Well, that's easy. Our plug and play kit injects energy into your domestic grid safely and legally. So if you produce excess energy, you can actually sell it to the grid. And all you need is a plug. You don't need a roof, you don't need an installation, just a plug. So in short, BlueBat is the first do-it-yourself solar plus smart battery system meant for every type of homeowner that makes people real money. Because we actually produce or generate value, as you can see on the screen, and because we are also the best value. Let me give you IKEA as an example. Our solar kit is 34% more valuable, or 34% cheaper than IKEA's, and it's also more flexible. We estimate the market at 43 billion euros in terms of domestic solar, 40 billion euros in terms of domestic storage, and in terms of battery management, 1.5 billion euros in SaaS-like annual recurring revenues. In terms of competitors, goodbye, but remember, there's a better, easier, and smarter way to reduce your power bill and make money in the process, which is BlueBat.
Thank you. I must confess that I worked with him on his pitch, and I'm very happy with the outcome. It was very, very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, judges, questions. There we go. I haven't forgotten. Well, I owe her a question before. I'm sorry.
Hi, I think that the idea is incredible, so congratulations.
Thank you.
My question is regarding the possibility to also receive incomes to the extra energy that...
Sorry, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
No,
better now?
A little better now. Sir.
Okay, so my question is regarding how do you coordinate the contract with the electrical company in order to receive incomes for the excess of energy that the house produces?
That's a very good question. It's actually part of our service. We legalize our kit, so we do all the process for the customer. So once we sell the kit, we just do all the documentation with the Comunidad Autónoma, with the Spanish region, and then with the distribution company. And so with the next number of months, depending on the region, because there's a huge variability in terms of admin work per region, we do everything for the client.
Okay, well, big applause. We don't have the time. Big applause for Javier.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have to confess that I pitched this to my wife, and she was like, what? We need to talk with the guy. Get the startup guy. We need to install that in our place. It's like, yep, it's pretty cool. Okay, so we're going back to energy-intensive industries. One of those is the construction industry, and specifically the creation of cement is one of the most highly intensive CO2 processes that we have in all the industries, actually. Now, there's been for many years attempts to try and reduce the carbon footprint of this industry, and today we have someone that has really cracked it. In two sides. First one, being able to produce cement ingredients that are nature-based, which means that they don't incur an extra CO2 production, and at the same time, the production of a component that when turned into concrete, it actually absorbs CO2 from the atmosphere. And to tell you about the incredible projects that they've already been deploying, please welcome our next startup, all the way from the US, Tim Sperry, founder and CEO of Carbon Limit.
Buenos dias. It's really great to see all the focus on sustainability here at South Summit in Madrid. So thank you for all your help. And it's really great to be here. In order for us to win the fight against climate change, though, scientists have agreed, in addition to reducing our carbon footprint, we have to start removing billions of tons of CO2 pollution every year starting now, and right now we're removing maybe 1 million. So we have a lot of work to do. My name is Tim Sperry, founder of Carbon Limit, and we're creating carbon capture technologies that have the potential to remove billions of tons of CO2, and we've started with the concrete industry. For many, many reasons, but mainly because it's the second most used material on the planet, and it's everywhere. And our solution actually uses it to capture and store CO2, and that's what we created, CaptureCrete. It's a simple additive, when added to concrete, gives it the ability to capture and store CO2 pollution. Our customers are cement and concrete companies that put this into their concrete. It's easily adoptable for them, inexpensive, lowers the carbon footprint, and generates valuable carbon credits. So how does it work? CaptureCrete is made up of active minerals that, when put into concrete like this road, give it the ability to actively attract CO2 from the air like a magnet. Once in the concrete, transforms it into a mineral where it is stored permanently. And to make the invisible visible, we've taken these 3 samples of concrete, exposed them to the same amount of CO2. The one on your left is our control without CaptureCrete, and we put a special dye on there to show how much CO2 has been captured and mineralized. And when it shows up pink, purple, like the first one, shows little to no CO2 has been mineralized, and the other 2 are with CaptureCrete with little to no purple, indicating that they're fully saturated with CO2 that has been captured and stored. And our business model is very simple. We sell our additive to cement and concrete companies, but we can also license it to them as well, giving us the ability to scale globally rapidly. And best of all, every time it's deployed, generates valuable carbon credits that we can sell to the mandatory market or the voluntary market. Our market is massive. It's over $171 billion and growing rapidly. Recent projects we've done in the US with the Department of Defense and Department of Transportation, our first project with Google. We do 3D projects, 3D printing projects. We have our first licensees, and working with 3 of the largest cement and concrete companies in the world to get towards licensing with them as well. Really great notable achievements, but that's attributed to my amazing team of experts. I'm actually the only one from the States. The rest of my team is from all around the world. And thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, judges, question here, please. No, wait. No, keep talking.
Now?
There you
Okay.
go.
Rebecca Guerra from Ferrovial. What is the limit for the concrete to absorb the CO2?
What is it?
Is there any limit for the concrete to absorb CO2?
So 1 ton of concrete can absorb between 10 to 200 kilograms of CO2, depends how much cement is in there, but it's like a sponge. Once it has enough CO2 in there, it's full and can't take any more in. But it has a pretty significant impact. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any quick question?
Yes.
Well, we had like 3 people there. You guys sort it out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. Are there any compromises on durability or using this material instead of standard concrete?
So it's like Roman concrete. It actually has self-healing properties, and it improves the compressive strength of the concrete and other similar properties. So it actually makes a better concrete, a stronger concrete. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, big applause for Tim. Thank you very much, Tim, for joining us.
Brother.
And now we are flying to Switzerland, and we're going to be talking about maybe one of the most bizarre industries for me that I never understand how we cannot improve the technology and the innovation, which is the recycling industry. It's like everyone talks about recycling, but all the efforts we put into recycling, separating things, then they go, if you excuse my language, they go to shit when it actually goes to the recycling plant. Then they get everything together, they push it in the recycling. It's like, seriously, guys? Like, I have 3 boxes, 5 boxes at home, and then you all mix it back again. Now, this is especially a big issue when it comes to plastics, because you have this plastics that are normally combined with a lot of other components. If we go large and not just consumer, things like cars, that they have all these different plastic parts glued, blended together, and it's very, very hard to get it out. Well, precisely to talk about a technology that allows us to convert the unsorted, the dirty, the post-consumer PET plastics into virgin-grade raw materials, please welcome our next startup, Samantha Anderson, CEO and co-founder of dPoly. Big applause to Samantha.
So, everybody in this room has probably interacted with plastic at some point today. You're probably wearing it if your t-shirt, for example, is made out of polyester. But all this plastic has one thing in common, and that it's likely not going to be recycled. This is due to the limitations of the mechanical recycling system, which basically state, unless it's pure, perfect plastic, it's going to end up in incineration or landfill centers. And this represents around 90% of the plastic that we produce on a yearly basis, which means we're heavily reliant on the oil industry to produce new virgin plastic to meet our consumer needs. And plastic's not just going away. That's why it's a $580 billion business that is going to consume 20% of our oil by 2050 and offset all of our CO2 reduction efforts by over 50%. To me, this is terrifying because this is a number we are already behind on. And so this is where dPoly comes in. We've invented a unique chemical process which takes plastics, like PET, and breaks it down into the main raw materials that make it up. This material can then be sold back to industry in a B2B manner to be turned back into virgin-grade plastic, but from our waste. Our process operates at room temperature, there's no heat, there's no pressure, and the chemicals that we use are sustainable and commercially available. In terms of the scope of what we can deal with, it's basically everything the mechanical recycling industry cannot treat. We're talking pre-consumer, post-consumer household waste, high-end, low-end luxury brands, indoor, outdoor sporting good equipment, and even post-consumer or post-industrial waste that is heavily chemically contaminated. In all of these cases, it can be turned back to the virgin-grade material, returned back into plastic, and then depolymerized again. So it's an infinite loop of chemical recycling for materials that would otherwise be burned or thrown into landfills. Right now, we have a pilot plant that we're operating in Switzerland. We just closed our financing round, so we're going to be building what we call our showcase plant. It's a pre-commercialization plant to demonstrate the technology on a ton before moving to the commercial scale. And the team that is bringing this to fruition is a group of 14 people from various walks, different backgrounds of life, but we all have specialties in chemistry, chemical engineering, marketing, sales, admin, everything that you typically find in a startup. Most of us have existed in the chemical, engineering, polymer, plastic kind of worlds before coming into the startup. So I think this is a record on how fast I've done this pitch, but in roughly around 3 minutes, 468 tons of new PET, only PET plastic will have been produced. This is the equivalent of 17 million water bottles that could enter our environment. We need to stop this from happening, and we need to leave the world in a greener and cleaner place for future generations. I'm Sam, I'm the CEO and co-founder of dPoly, and let's rethink recycling together.
Hey. Breathe. Breathe. This is the Alex effect. You see the hat coming. Judges, questions, please.
Hi, great pitch. I'm Max here from K-Fund. What, if any, environmental externalities are there to the whole recycling process?
Or specifically? I mean, in terms of waste, I guess this is what you're more asking. So it's all the additives and dyes that you would find in plastic. So, for example, my pants are black. The dye that's used to make it black, we won't recycle. This will go through standard chemical incineration, which is how they treat kind of everything. But anything that's blended, if it's a cotton polyester, for example, we would recover that other material and sell it back to industry to minimize the waste that would come out of our process.
Okay, we have another one there. I'll go back to you.
Oh.
Yeah, keep talking.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Okay, my question is, when are you planning to launch your product as you are in TRL 7? And my second question is, what is your plan of commercialization of your product?
Yeah, so we actually have already started integrating some of our product into some of our customers' existing material. Because of the scale we're on, it's not commercially available because it's tons. So this is where our showcase plant is coming in. This is where we're going to start actually introducing it into probably brands and consumer products that you already know. So this should be out by around 2024, and then on a fully commercial level, so we're talking, tens of thousands of tons, this will be 2027.
Okay, we're out of time. I promise I'll go back to you later. Big applause to Samantha. Thank you very much, Samantha, for joining us. Now we're flying back to Spain and to the energy space in kind of a continuation of the previous pitch that we saw. when you start allowing people to then resell their energy excess within the market, then new needs kind of arise. And precisely our next startup, they've devised what we call a peer-to-peer energy market between people that have excess energy production and people that actually need that energy. So to talk about how you deal with this, and they've been growing really fast, please welcome our next startup, Alexis Lacera, CEO of Lumio.
It might surprise you to know that today I came to talk about my parents. Hi, I'm Alexis, co-founder of Lumio, and we have a very clear objective. We want a 100% sustainable planet. My father is this kind of very innovative people. In the early 2000s, he was buying already Christmas gifts by the internet. Can you imagine? So 4 years ago, he was looking at his electricity bill, and he saw that he was not consuming sustainably and also very expensive. So he decided to put solar panels. But then he started having a lot of energy surpluses, but at a very low remuneration. At the same time, my mother was running a small business, and she had the same problem as my father. The point is that she couldn't put solar panels. As a good son, I said, let's help them. Who has never wanted to help their family, right? So I said, why don't I take the energy surplus of my father and I give it to my mother, and I take the money of my mother and I give it to my father? So my father can have an energy surplus well remunerated, meanwhile my mother has affordable renewable consumption with traceability and transparency. This solution has made us Lumio is the first peer-to-peer energy platform in Europe. And we do something very different. We connect individuals so they can share sustainable energy between them. And we have a very strong competitive advantage. Due to two things. We are the first ones with this solution in the market, and second of all these users give us a very strong network effect. Why we do this differently? So, as I said before, we have a very strong sustainable focus, and what we want is that people consume when there is solar production, so their sustainable impact is better, and they lower their electricity bill. We earn money as a platform, as a marketplace. We earn 18 euros per megawatt hour consumed. And this platform works because there are users that own solar panels. So we said, let's put solar panels ourselves. We have done more than 500 projects, and we have fed our platform with all these users. So right now we have more than 1,500 users actively using monthly this platform. And on top of that, we have been escalating quite rapidly this last month. This is my favorite slide. We have had already 4 million of revenues up to date, and we have reduced emissions equivalent to removing 200 cars from the road. Oh, sorry. Sorry. And we have been recognized by media, such as Forbes or Business Insider, with all these results. And last but not least, this fantastic team and myself wanted to remind you to do not forget to share your good energy, not just in our platform, but mainly in life. Thank you very much.
Whoa, good? Good. We did 4 million revenue, mic drop. Okay, judges, I believe I owe you a question. I don't know if you want to ask one.
Yeah. Thank you, Alexis, for your presentation.
Thank you.
And what is your market size, and how do you expect to grow?
So the market size is huge. As you can imagine, the solar sector is booming. Right now, we calculate that the market just in Spain is 5 billion each year and growing. And we plan to have in the platform around 100,000 users by 2026 and doing more than 2,000 installations by year. Thank you.
Yeah, keep on.
It's Fernando for Inclimo Climate Tech. To what degree you depend on the installations of solar that you make, and to what point could you apply the platform to other solar panels from others and grow?
Actually, we do that. So it was just like a go-to-market strategy, so we could go rapidly. But actually, we were like in La Feria Genera like 3 months ago, and we have done a lot of agreements with other installers. So this is quite interesting because it enhances installers to put more solar panels, as we are another tool for monetizing the energy surpluses for the customers. So we are already doing that. Thank you.
Okay, well, we're out of time. Please,
Okay.
big applause to Alexis. Thank you very much, Alexis. Just a quick reminder, because there's a lot of judges and we're pressed on time, but you can still use the app to send your questions. Those of you that still have pressing questions for them, you can ping them on the app. And now we're flying to Portugal, and it's kind of one of those funny cases where we've had the mentor and the mentoree actually on the same stage. So this is a mentoree of a previous startup, which I find it very, very cool. Startups helping each other. And dealing with, we covered this before, right? How do we help buildings to decarbonize? And in this case, maybe a little bit more to the point, how do we help building managers to take the right actions to manage their building? Well, precisely to talk about the whole integration from smart meters to climate and satellite information, and then an API to provide easy to implement actions for the building managers in terms of energy savings. Please welcome our next startup from Portugal, Shailander Tomar, CEO of Preflat.
Have you ever walked into an office building and felt too cold or too hot? Or perhaps seen the lights turn on during the day? These are just a few examples of energy waste that happen every day. Stop throwing money out of the window on inefficient building. I experienced this massive energy loss firsthand while working for more than 10 years at Fortune 500 companies. To solve this problem, I co-founded Preflat, a web platform that helps building managers save energy costs. As you can see, our platform monitors energy usage from smart meters in real time. We use building-related climate data. We use machine learning with different multidimensional data, putting it climate information and satellite imaging, and then we process this through our engine and give actions that you can easy to implement in your buildings. Once you implement these actions, you can see the impact in real time, how you have been able to help decarbonize your buildings. This way, you can act immediately to save money, reduce cost, and lower your consumption and carbon footprint. Compared to the existing solutions in the market, Preflat is 2 times more efficient, easy to use, and doesn't require any upfront investment or technical knowledge. We serve commercial buildings like offices, retail chain, where rising energy cost is a huge concern. Our customer-friendly pricing of 2,000 euros per building per year has return of investment in just 5 months. In Europe alone, there are more than 165 million inefficient buildings. And with our technology, we can save more than 100 billion euros for Europe. Since we joined Techstars acceleration program this beginning of this year, we already won 10 pilot buildings, and we are building strategic partnership in the energy efficiency sector. To execute this great vision, we have an amazing team. So I bring as a data strategist, then Francesca has 15 years of business development experience. George has 10 years in IT consulting, top-tier firms, and Maxon has built 10 scalable technology products. We are also surrounded by a great ecosystem, Climate Cake, European Space Agency, and as I mentioned, Techstars. So today we have 2 asks. One, if you own or manage a commercial building, talk to us, we are here. And second, if you believe in our vision, invest in us. Thank you.
Very good. Well done. Let's see, because this guy's always lean. No questions on this side? Okay, go for it, Max.
Are you only using owned IoT for the building sensors, or are you integrating with legacy sensors as well? Because I know a lot of the legacy sensors are very unfriendly APIs, really, really hard to integrate with. I'd love to hear how you're doing that.
We're actually trying to avoid the hardware at all costs. So as you know, there's a huge movement of smart meters. Today, we have 50% buildings already have it. And what we are trying to do, get information directly from the smart meters to, through the wireless way.
Any other quick question? No? Okay, then we'll say goodbye. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Highlander. Pleasure having you. And obviously, this being sustainability, we keep touching industries that are heavy and problematic when it comes to sustainable approaches. We touch construction, we touch building management, and now we're going to touch, obviously, fashion, where it has a lot of inefficiencies. Now, let me tell you a very brief tale. My family owns a metal or plastic company. And one of the surprising things when I learned about the business was how much material was wasted when they do like the shapes or the forms of whatever they're building, then the rest of the material just sits there abandoned. And I was like, yeah, but you can, recycle all that stuff that's there that you're not using it. Well, when it comes to fashion, it's a very, very similar situation where you have the patterns that you cut, the big industries cut all these patterns, and then the in-between textile that it's there is not used anymore. Now, what if we could connect that excess with people that actually need not that much material, but actually the right amount of material? That way, maximizing the use of the material we put into play in fashion. Well, to talk about that, I want to welcome one of our final stars of the morning. Please welcome Mónica Rodríguez, co-founder and CEO of Recovo.
So I can see that nobody has forgotten to get dressed this morning. We're all dressed. Clothing is produced constantly, and textile waste is produced constantly. In fact, 92 million tons. Less than 5% is recycled. My name is Mónica. I'm the co-founder of Recovo. I've been in the fashion industry for more than 10 years, and this industry has a huge issue with waste. What's happening, or why is it generated? Due to inefficiencies in the supply chain, leaving warehouses with tons of rolls of fabrics, yarns, buttons, zippers, raw material unused that can be used and repurposed with a solution like ours. Recovo is a textile SaaS platform that recovers and resells surplus materials, fabric rolls, yarns, zippers, and gives it a second life on the platform. We have buyers and sellers that are clothing brands and textile manufacturers. Clothing brands and textile manufacturers that want to resell these materials online and reach international customers. The positive impact is directly linked to our sales. So far, we have recovered 400,000 meters of fabric, saved 17 million liters of water, and avoided 80,000 kilograms of emissions. All this just with our connections. So what is our business model like? We charge an annual fee to our subscription to use our platform and 30% commission per transaction. One of our main advantages is that we sell materials, but we're selling the data in 3 KPIs: liters of water, emissions, and chemics, allowing brands to communicate sustainability efforts and can be compliant with the new EU legislation. So this is an example of how we turn waste into profit. So far, we have more than 600 customers. 60% of our sales are international. We have over 1,000 orders, and we operate in 15 markets. We are connecting buyers and sellers of surplus fabrics, closing the loop of textile waste across Europe. Our team is a 14 team of professionals with experience in the fashion industry, covering all areas, and the funding team is ex-Inditex. We're raising a 1 million investment round to grow our technology and to grow in international markets. So just to conclude, we are Recovo. We're on a mission to fight textile waste. We're empowering circularity in fashion, and we're doing this by connections, transforming textile waste into value with technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Great job. Okay, questions for Monica, please. There we go.
Yes. Thank you for the presentation. Very interesting. I'm curious to know if you are in charge of on the platform, or also you're in charge of the logistics of bringing the fabrics from the from one point to the other, and if you take into account the ecological footprint of these logistics?
Okay, so we are in charge of the logistics. We are creating the connection. We do not stock, we do not purchase. We connect the one that has the stock with the one that is purchasing it.
Okay, I have another question over there, very quick.
Monica, thank you for your presentation. My question is, can you tell me what is your competitive advantage?
So our competitive advantage is that every material that is sold on our platform has 3 KPIs of impact analyzed. This way, the selling company knows the circularity initiative, how much does it weigh in terms of their sustainability goal, like carbon footprint reduction, for example, and also the buying company can create a collection, knowing the avoided impact versus producing new raw materials.
Okay, so big applause for Monica. Thank you very much for joining, Monica. And we are up to the last startup of this block. Are we ready? Oh, let's try again. Are we ready? Okay, we can do this. That's one. We're flying to Italy. And we're talking about something that I think a lot of people forget. When we're talking about sustainability, we're talking about changing things. We're all really deep down, we're talking about changing habits, changing behaviors. And that implies engaging with humans. And that implies getting them to collaborate and to understand certain things and start slowly changing the behaviors. And that's not an easy thing to do. Well, precisely to talk about how you engage or how can you engage employees through sustainability themed competition in the digital platform, we have our last startup. So please welcome the CEO and co-founder of Up2You, Andrea Swanetti.
Thank you. So good morning, everyone. I'm Andrea Zonetti, CEO and co-founder of Up2You. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Planet, our platform to engage your workforce through sustainability. A little bit of context first. 1 in 3 employees are considering in the midterm to change their actual job. And you don't quite realize how hard this is until you figure it out on your own team. 1/3 of your team is at risk of leaving your firm. But another key insight is that people now are not only considering their career, not only considering their compensation, of course, but they're also considering, and this is new, is a new trend from the last few years, what your company is doing for sustainability. This is why we came up with Planet, a platform that lets you engage your workforce through sustainability. At the same time, you build consciousness about this topic, you train them, and you make team building. Let's see how does it work. First of all, you launch the challenge. Your colleagues sign up to the platform and they find new habits they can adopt to have a more sustainable lifestyle. They learn about what your company is doing and they can also make proposals for something else to do. Second step is they get engaged through the gamification, leaderboards, the challenge, the typical challenge between the sales team and the marketing team is finally finding a real winner through sustainability. Of course, when you do what the platform engages you to do, you get rewards, which can be either physical object or sustainable project to be sustained by your employees. And last but not least, we help them communicate outside the company, become ambassador of what your company is doing from a sustainability perspective. But you don't have to trust my word, you can trust our numbers. We have already more than 300 companies who have chosen us to engage their employees, and most of the participants have actually stated that they have an increased attention towards sustainability thanks to this platform. What is our competitive advantage? Is our team. We started as a group of 3 aerospace engineers, so very strong on the analytical aspect, but we do know that we are not strong on the relationship side, so we actually got on board several managers to cover all the aspects that we were lacking on. And nowadays we have a strong team that has several years of experience on the gamification and people engaging part, which is the real strength of this platform. What's next? We just raised 3.5 million. We're spending those money on product development. Next year, we're going to raise again, and we're going international with that money. Thank you for your attention, and please remember that the future, it's up to you.
Bravo, Andrea.
Grazie.
Okay, questions for Andrea, please. I owed you one, I didn't forget. I saw you.
Thank you so much for the pitch. I like the value proposition, and I believe there are a couple of other players in the space. And then you mentioned the competitive advantage is the technical part. But if you can tell me a little bit more about the differentiation factors compared to others, thanks.
Sure. So we have two key differentiation. The first one I mentioned before, the advantage, is our expertise in the gamification part, which is very typical of our team. Well, the differentiation is that I just presented you one side of our product. We also have a suite of product that helps company to tackle climate change at 360 degrees, and this integrates perfectly with our platform. So all the reduction that comes to our platform is going to be tracked on our tracking carbon accounting platform, and this integration is very strong because you get real concrete numbers on what you are reducing through the platform, carbon emission you are reducing through the platform.
Okay, we're out of time, so please, big applause to Andrea. Grazie, Andrea. Bravo.